One thing that's become clear from the issues of Palestine in recent days and in general in the world, and I think it seems to be increasing since in the last few years or so, the amount of killing and taking of life that just seems to be senseless and without any, there's no real there's no right and there's no purpose to that as well. I mean, what was the purpose of killing innocent people praying in the mosque in Ramadan when people are fasting and tired? And most of those who were killed were women and children. I mean, what did they do exactly? Why were they killed? And this is the thing that we are told in a hadith, the saying of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that near the end of times, the amount of killing will increase, and the person killed will not know exactly why they were killed, and the person who was killing will not really know why they are killing as well. So this is one of the signs of the end of times, we are told. But at the same time, it's a big sign that we're just not valuing human life as well. I mean, not saying we, because I think many people, they do try, but people who are involved in these things or in supporting, they're not valuing human life. I mean, we're supposed to be one humanity. This is the belief of Islam, that we are one humanity, we are from two human beings, and all people all around the world, regardless of their culture, language, religion, their color, anything, they are one humanity. We are brothers and sisters from two human beings. And we may have differences, but all people have the right to live their life. In Islam, uh, human life is highly valued. I mean, many people don't understand that. They think it's because of the media and because of many false ideas. They think that Islam is a religion of terrorism. Islam is a religion that does not value human life and wants to kill people and harm people. But in reality, um, the Quran gives us the idea that human life is a gift from Allah to people. We're not supposed to take um, our lives or other people's lives, because some people, they think even with their own life is their life, so they can do what they want with it, and they think that they can end it if they wish. And the problem is that because of the media and because of various films and um, things we read in books or stories we know about people, they put forward that the solution to many problems is killing yourself, killing other people. Nobody says to do that, but this is something that is put forward as something normal in the media or in films. I mean, many films now, people are killing each other. Many American films, it's all about guns and fighting and killing people. Human life is precious. It's a gift from God, gift from Allah. And as we just mentioned, the Quran tells us not to take our lives, and because life is from Allah. If someone takes human life, they are trying to put themselves in the position of God. You know, uh, just as no one can give a life to someone, they're not supposed to take it as well. And I mean, we believe everything happens by the will of Allah, but we're not supposed to be responsible for somebody's death unless there is a religious reason. And we're told these reasons, for example, can be if someone has killed someone purposefully, the Islamic leader may order for the person's life to be taken as well, after finding that this person killed someone deliberately, unless, of course, the family of the person who was killed forgives them and accepts blood money. So this is one example of when human life can be taken, but there are only specific instances such as this, and it's not to be taken lightly, or people to kill people with suicide bombings or something like this. Suicide bombings, people kill themselves, which is forbidden. You know, when we suicide bombings often kill innocent people as well, because you know, innocent people, you can't control who is there. And in general, a lot of people in one place, you'll find people who are innocent, and we're not supposed to target people who are not involved in something. As a self-defense, people may fight back for themselves, but not killing people who don't want to be there or who are not involved. So at the same time, um, life is an opportunity for people to gain more rewards and to gain a higher place in, you know, with God and Allah. I mean, we're told that the more, I mean, because of the Western understanding and the perception of age, they often think that the more that people live in this world, the longer they live their life, the more things decrease, and everything just gets worse. According to Islam, um, spiritually, people increase. The more their life increases, if someone's doing good deeds, they will increase in their good deeds. Of course, if someone's living a bad life, they will increase maybe in bad deeds. But we have the opportunity that the more we live our life, the more good deeds we can do, we can earn a higher place in paradise or something like this and become closer to God. And that's why we're told as Muslims not to wish for death. Um, people who they're in hardships or in hard times, they may think to end their life. They think there's no solution, and they think the best thing is to end their life. The thing is, there are many other solutions, and people often find them. I mean, there are quite a few people who have gone through times in their life where maybe they thought to end their life. They've been in a very difficult situation. They thought it would never end. They were very, very upset about something, and they thought it would never get better. But in the end, maybe they were patient. Maybe they had someone to help them and support them. Some people even they've attempted suicide, but they didn't manage it, and they continue to live their life. And in the end, they are okay. I mean, someone, maybe they broke up from a relationship. Maybe they will find another person eventually. Maybe they realize that this person they thought was their world was not really meant for them. Maybe their financial problems resolved by itself, or someone was bullying them. This person left. Life changes a lot, so maybe we will go through hard times, but the Quran tells people to be patient, and we're told not to kill ourselves, and not just killing yourself by ending life, but people can kill themselves gradually by harming themselves with drinks and drugs, and maybe not paying attention to their health. For example, people maybe they have diabetes, but they insist they must eat a lot of sugar. So this is like killing themselves in a way, because maybe they're making their health worse and they're destroying their body. And according to Islam, our bodies and our life is from Allah. It's like being rented or being given for some time, and one day it will be taken back. So we are not supposed to destroy ourselves in these ways. We have to find other ways to deal with our problems or our sadness. Um, now there's many groups. Maybe you can go to if you have depression, if you have hardships. I mean, we should have good friends and family, but if we don't, maybe you could use one of these groups, or go to doctors, go to counselors, and so forth. And the same thing when we have problems with other people. The solution is not to just take someone's life. I mean, people taking people's life for the small, issues that we don't see as important. I mean, they are not, maybe this person, when they themselves, they think it's a big issue, but some of these arguments, they can be resolved in other ways. Um, we can find, a way to deal with issues between people without resorting to violence, without resorting to killing, without resorting to taking people's life, which is their right and their opportunities. Life is valuable and cannot be given back. I mean, can you bring a dead person back to life again? We can't. You can't change these things. I mean, some things in life, maybe you said a bad word to someone, maybe you hurt them in some way. You can apologize, and maybe in some way they can forgive you, and maybe they will forget in the end, and things will continue. Maybe you made a mistake with someone, you've done, you know, they were angry with you, but you can make this thing better. But when it comes to taking the human life, you can't bring somebody back. That's a permanent thing. Their life is gone. Their opportunities have gone. Their dreams have stopped. And would you like someone to do that to you when you have your dreams, your ambitions? Maybe um, you have something particular you want to do in life, and someone just comes and ends everything for you. Is this something that can be forgiven? This is why in Islam, taking human life is like a major thing. It's a very big thing, and with uh, even there's been a debate about if someone can repent or not. I mean, there is an agreement of scholars that people who kill people, they can repent, but repentance means that they have to stop doing that thing, and they have to regret doing that thing, and they have to make a vow and never to return to that. So if someone truly wants to repent, they have that option. Um, but still, you can't bring someone's life back. And taking people's life affects it's not only end their life and ends their opportunities, and has put an end to their dreams or ambitions or what they could have been. And it's not about someone's age. I mean, even if someone is 100 years old, they're still maybe, I mean, people, they are different, of course. Some people are, maybe they're 50, 60, they're feeling very tired and they feel they don't want to, or they can't do so much. But someone could be 100 years old and they could still have ambitions. There's still things they want to do. They're still active. No one has the right to end someone's life for them at any time. This is something given by Allah, and He decides. God decides um, how someone will live or when they will die, and um, this is something that we should just respect other people's lives. Not only not only how people, I mean, how not only about living themselves, but by not preventing them from living how they want as well. I mean, people, they stop people from living the life they want as well by putting unnecessary restrictions, putting age related rules, and saying people can't do things over a certain age when they can, or when they're under a certain age when they can, or when they are saying they can't do something because they are from a particular place. I mean, for example, now we've heard in Palestine that, if you're an Arab, there's certain things you can't do. Maybe it's certain places you can't go. You have to have a specific door to enter when you enter into the airport. So these are ways that people are stopping people from living their lives as well, and these are against human rights and human issues. I mean, we are all living in one world, and we all have basically the same humanity, the same feelings, and the same ambitions. Why do we want to harm other people? Why do we want to stop other people from living their lives? Even small issues such as people stopping someone from marrying the person they want. When there's no harm in that, when person they want to marry is a good person. They're both agreeing, they're both adults, and there's no reason to stop them. Why do people have to get involved and prevent them from living their lives for no good reasons? So these are the ways that people harm each other, and they're not valuing the life that people have. But the main issue we were discussing is the issue of the killings and the lack of value of the human life in general, and how this is put forward in the media and in the news. And to be honest, a lot of these films, in essence, they are American films that we see people killing each other a lot and blowing up things and blowing up buildings. But then it seems ironic that in the end, a lot of the enemies that put forward there, they are Arab, in the media or in various books. Often you'll find that they make the Arab people or the Muslim people the enemies, or they are terrorists, and the American people are battling the terrorists. There are secret agents finding out about terrorists, and some books as well. They put forward the support for Israel. They have books in which the Israelis are with the Americans and the Americans are with them, and then the bad Arabs and Muslims, and they put forward the idea that Muslims are terrorists. But the thing is that, for example, now we find that Israelis killed maybe 200 people from the Palestinians. And Palestinians, yes, they had sent rocket bombs, but the loss of human life from the Israelis was maybe 20 people or less. So the loss of human life in the Palestinians was a lot more. And they were attacked when they were just praying in the mosque. And the main people killed were women and children. So why was this not called a terrorist act? And why is the only idea of terrorism applied to Muslims and Arabs? I mean, the whole idea of calling someone a terrorist, to be honest, is kind of meaningless, because many people, they will not call themselves a terrorist, whoever they are. And it just seems that these kind of name calling and things, they are just one-sided. For example, Israelis and America call Muslims terrorists. People who support Palestine may call Israelis terrorists, but you don't find this put forward in the news. So things, when they become one-sided, it also seems to put the idea forward that some people's life is not as valued. For example, when there's a lot of upset and a lot of support when some Israelis have been killed, for example, or if someone from America was attacked and killed, for example, by someone Arab or Muslim, for example. I'm not talking about something that's particularly happened, but there would be a lot of upsets and a lot of talk about that, and how bad are Muslims and how bad are Arabs, and that they are terrorists, because the value they've given to this life is more important than the value they've given to this other group of people. That an Arab person or a Muslim person, according to them, their life is less. Obviously they don't say that, and maybe they don't mean that even. Some people, maybe they are careless how they speak or how they see things, but this is what we understand, that when you when you make a big issue about certain groups of people, and you support certain groups of people, and other people, no matter how hard they defend themselves, or even for the small things that they may do, they're called terrorists, and they are attacked, and not much attention is given to them if they are killed, and still that they are supported against, and they, still people will support Israel. It's like saying that their life is less value than the other person's life. So this is another way that we're not valuing human life. Human life is human life at the end of the day. It would be good if we could, we could find a way to deal with all these issues and stop the wars and stop the fighting and killing, and find other ways to deal with these problems. And I believe the Quran is actually very against the killing people and using violence as a means to to deal with issues. But at the same time, people, when the Quran has allowed people to defend themselves, and this is what some of the verses that people take out of context they mean. For example, there's a verse that people often take out of context. I mean, there's no verse that tells people to kill innocent people wherever you find them. There's no verse like that. But one verse will tell people that, the people who were attacking you and killing you for many years, they were torturing you, and the people who were torturing the Muslims, the pagan Arabs, they tortured the Muslims for many years, and they attacked them, and they took their lives, and they turned them out of their cities. And the Quran in the beginning told them to be patient. They were too weak to do anything, and there was no way to fight back at that time. They were told to be patient, and they were patient, and they immigrated for some time as well. But in the end, after many years, the attacking was still going on. People were still being killed. They were still being persecuted for their religion. They were still being they couldn't go to live in their city. People were trying to kill them, trying to torture them, taking the lives of their wives and different things. So in the end, the Quran established that they should fight back, and this is what we call jihad. I mean, nobody likes to hear the word jihad. It's become a very I can't just say misunderstood word, but it's just used so incorrectly. And in the media, if you say something like this, I think people will just be horrified that what's this word, jihad. But and the word itself is only meaning struggle. Struggle, and it's not referring just to war and fighting. It's referring to the struggle that people have in general, and that can be inwardly. For example, a person can struggle with themselves. Maybe they find it hard to do good things, for example, or they have a tendency that they want to steal things, they want to do something bad. So they have an inner struggle with themselves that they have to prevent themselves from doing the bad things, and maybe they have to try and do the good things. So this is called the jihad and nafs, the struggling with the self. This is more highly valued according to Islam than the physical fighting. And the physical fighting as well, this is termed as a struggle because it's trying to establish justice. It's trying to establish peace and freedom. For this reason, we're told that when people stop fighting, you stop fighting as well. When people change themselves, you change yourself as well. And in Islam, there's many rules related to warfare and fighting, which probably we can't go into all of them right now, but in general, you're not supposed to attack or kill any innocent person. This is the rule. Old people, who are not involved, women who are not involved, children who are not involved, and even other people who they don't really want to be involved. They don't want to be there. And I mean, even we know that in Israel there are people who they don't want to fight. Maybe they're just living there and they're just normal people. They don't want to fight. So these people are not supposed to be attacked. They're not supposed to be killed. They're not supposed to be harmed. They don't want to be involved. So we shouldn't involve them as well. So this is how and in wars as well, not just the lives of people are supposed to be respected. Even the lives of trees, plants, animals should be respected. We shouldn't cut people's trees down or destroy their plants, because this may destroy their livelihood, and also, these are the things that people eat from, so in a way it's affecting their life as well. So these are the ways. I don't know if I explained everything clearly and in a way that people will understand how much Islam values life. Maybe I didn't do justice in explaining everything, but I hope I've given some idea that in Islam, human life is highly valued, and we should really value life. We should stop seeing it as something that can be just taken because of small issues, or just the solution to many problems is fighting and killing ourselves when we have problems, killing other people when they have, when there's issues with them, and that these things are just light. It's not something light. We're supposed to value human life. It's a gift from God, and it's a right that all people have. I mean, in human rights, according to human rights, life is one of the basic right of human beings, and in Islam as well. And the Quran also tells us that before Islam, Allah had sent to the people of Israel, because we believe that God, the Creator, He revealed the books of the Torah and the Bible to the Jews and the Christians before He revealed the Quran to the Muslims. The only difference is that the Jews and the Christians did not accept Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But in the Quran, it tells us that it was revealed to the people of Israel that if they took one human life, it's like they took the life of humanity. So it was like a great thing, a big thing to take someone's life. But on the other hand, it was revealed to them that if they saved someone's life, it was like they saved the life of humanity. So as well, this is how valued human life is. Saving life is a big thing. Taking life is a huge sin. So, I mean, if people put their efforts and their energies and their abilities into trying to solve human problems and trying to save the lives of people, how great is that, and how much reward would they have with God for this thing? That you save the people that God created, God's servants on this earth. And now in this century, people, they have, now we are living a lot longer than we were in the past because of science, because of medicine, because of people finding ways to deal with illnesses and medicine. In the past, they didn't have enough knowledge of hygiene, for example. They didn't have enough knowledge of medicine, and nowadays we have this knowledge. We've progressed in these areas, so now human life is a lot longer than before. So people, when they put their efforts into these things, trying to find cures for diseases, trying to find ways to deal with the problems that people have, to extend their lives, to better their lives, to help them live their life in the best way, these are the best things you can do for people. And this is far better than just destroying the world, destroying people's lives, destroying people's opportunities and hopes. And we forget as well that everything has a repercussion. And maybe this is the last thing I will mention, that if you take the life of someone, this person wasn't living alone. They had maybe family, they had parents, they had children, maybe they had brothers and sisters. All people are affected by losing people. I think maybe some people, they never get over losing someone close to them or someone they love. Children will be orphaned, for example. They will be without a parent. You cannot replace their parents. Husbands and wives, they're very close. Maybe they will never find someone like their husband or wife. Maybe they don't want, they shouldn't have to think about finding somebody else. You can't replace one person with another. Just as our eye color, our fingerprints, our DNA is unique to us, every person is unique. and no one can just be replaced like that. You can't replace your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. And people think that they can replace their husband or their wife or these people that come into their life new. I mean, maybe you can replace the person to some extent. You can have a new wife, a new husband, but you will never have the same person. We have to value people's life and people themselves as they are. We are all unique, and one person cannot be replaced by another. You can't just expect people just to get over losing someone. And uh, this is why we have to value who we are and who other people are as well.